Hello, everyone. This is Deanna Facillo with Sassy Girl Media and the Startup Circle. Today, we are doing our group coaching session on writing a successful business plan. Now, having a good business plan is really important when you're starting your business and to always reevaluate it. But there's a couple different plans that you can do. Some people don't even write a plan at all, but you should put some sort of plan in action. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the different plans that you can write, which one benefits you, and how to actually set them up. Because a lot of times when I meet with people, they may have an outline sketch, but they're not really sure what goes into a real business plan. So today, this is just going to be an overview of how to write a successful business plan. Now, to get started, there's actually two types of business plans. The first one is a startup business plan. Sometimes it's called a lean startup, but basically this one is really fast to write. You're really only using your keywords and you're not really going into a whole lot of detail. The other one is the traditional business plan. Now this one is very detailed. It's usually the one that you would have to write if you need financing, if you're going to talk to somebody at a bank or you are proposing to get any sort of money, they're going to want to see a traditional business plan. They're going to want to see all the details of your business and how you see it working. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the lean startup business plan, because this one is the quick one that's easy and fast and just kind of gives you, that basic layout so that you know what to do moving forward. So we're going to start with that one first, and then we'll talk about the traditional one. Now, you might want this if you just want to explain or start your business really, really quickly. If your business is just pretty simple, or you know that you're going to actually change it or add some details down the road. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use this startup business plan, but we're going to keep it pretty basic. There are a few important pieces of that startup plan. The first one is key partnerships. You want to note what businesses or services that you're going to be working with. Think about who is going to be your suppliers, your manufacturers. Who are you going to hire as your subcontractors? Another piece of that is your key activities. How is your company going to gain a competitive advantage? So talk about things about, are you going to sell directly to consumers? Are you going to use a technology to tap into your target market? What are you going to do? What it's going to set you apart? The next section you're going to want to mention are your key resources. You're going to want to list any resources that you have that could create more value for your customers, right? So this could be intellectual property that you own. It could be capital that you have. It might be resources available to you if you are a woman, or if you are part of a minority program, or anything like that. If you have additional resources that will help you bring additional value to your customers, you're going to want to list that in this section. The next one is value proposition. So this one, you really want to make a clear statement about the unique value that your company brings to the market, right? So pretty easy, just a very short, clear, compelling statement. Next, we want to talk about customer relationships. In this section, you want to describe how your customers are going to interact with your business. Is this something that's going to be automated? Does it just go through your website? Or is this something personal? Do you have a storefront? Are you going to be meeting with them one-on-one? Are you going to be meeting with them virtually? What is that customer experience going to be like from the very first interaction to the end? This is where you want to write that through and explain that in this plan. The customer segment is the section where you're going to really tell who your target market is. Who is that? And a lot of times I find that people really aren't clear on who their target market is. They think they may know, they may have a general idea, but they really haven't tested anything to see, who it's for. Sometimes they're like, well, my target is everybody. My business can serve everybody. And maybe that's true to a point, but not all businesses can serve everybody. So get clear, be specific on who your target market is. The next thing is, what channels are you going to use to communicate with your customer? Are you going to use a number of channels? Are you going to communicate with them on one-on-one? Are you going to connect with them on social media, through webinars, through through meetings? How are you going to connect? What are the different channels that you'll communicate with your customers? The cost structure. So is your company going to focus on reducing cost or increasing value? And what is that strategy? Like, how are you going to pursue that? What are you going to do if you are going to be a company that is more focused on reducing cost? How are you going to reduce that cost? Or are you going to bring more value to your customers? Is your product or your service going to bring value? And how are you going to increase that value? The last piece is your revenue stream. How are you really going to make money? Oops, I went back too far. How are you really going to make money, right? Or is it going to be direct sales? Are you going to have a membership? Are you going to sell advertising? Like, what are you going to do? And maybe you have a number of them. Maybe it's just not one stream of revenue. Maybe you're utilizing several. I know I utilize several different revenue streams, and I encourage you to use several different revenue streams. But this is the section where you really want to fine-tune it and define what those streams are. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the traditional plans. Now, the traditional plans are the ones that you're seeing more of, especially if you are a business that you need funding, or you're presenting it to somebody. They're most likely not going to want to look at one of the lean startup plans. They're going to want something a lot more detailed because, let's face it, they're putting money on the line. So the traditional business plan, we're going to go in and explain all the sections that you're going to need when you're creating this business plan and what that looks like. So again, there's some important pieces. One, you're going to start with your executive summary. So in this section, you're going to tell whoever's reading your business plan what your company is and why it's going to be successful. This is the section where you're going to put in your mission statement. You're going to talk about the product and the services that you're going to provide. You're going to talk about your team. Who's going to be on your team? How many employees? Is it just you? Or are you going to have additional people? Where is your business going to be located? And what's the financial information, right? What are your growth plans? The next section is a company description. Now in here, you want to get detailed information about your company. Talk about the problems that your business solves, right? What problems will your company solve? You want to be specific, talk about the consumers, the business, who will your company serve? And what are your competitive advantages? So this section, that's what you're going to talk about. The next section is a market analysis. Now, in the market analysis, you're going to need a good understanding of the outlook in your industry. You're also going to have a really good understanding of who your target market is. So there are ways that you can do market analysis. You can do them through surveys. You can do them through phone calls. I don't encourage you to do your own market analysis. And what I mean by that is just to ask your friends and family around you what their thought is and count that as your market analysis. That's not, and sometimes, a lot of times, people end up doing that. They will just talk to the people that are around them and get their opinions of what they think the industry looks like, what they think if it's a good product, if it's a good service. if who their target market may be. And the reality is your friends and family they want to support you. So a lot of times they're going to say, yeah, that's great. That's a really good idea. Or yeah, I can see, there's a use for it. But that doesn't mean that that's accurate. So do your own market analysis, really do some research, look for trends, look for themes in your industry, look at what your competitors are doing, find out why does that work, and what could you do to make it better. The next section, you want to list out the organization and the management. So in this one, you're going to talk about the legal structure of your business. Are you going to be like a sole proprietor? Are you going to be like an LLC or a C Corp, an S Corp? You want to talk about this. And then who's going to be in charge of your company, right? If you have more than just yourself in this company, what are their positions? How are they going to contribute to the success of this venture? So that's where you really want to write this section out. Then, of course, you want to talk about your service or your product line. So talk about what you're going to be selling or what service you're going to be offering, and how does it benefit your customer? What does the product lifestyle look like? And again, do your research. Do your research to understand how it will benefit your customer. Marketing and sales. Now, there is not just like one single way to approach a marketing strategy. And if you're part of the Startup Circle, you probably know that. There are a lot of different ways to approach this, and it's going to change. It's going to evolve as time goes on. But you're going to want to look at what your goals are in this section and how are you going to attract and retain customers. You're going to talk about here, how will the sale happen? Will it happen online? Will it happen in your store? How is it going to happen? Now, if you're asking for funding, this is where you're going to outline your funding requirements. Your goal is to just clearly explain how much money you're going to need over the next 5 years and what you're going to use it for. So you want to explain how that money is going to be applied. Is it going to be applied towards debt or for equity? And how are you going to use it? So be very specific. If you're going to use it to buy equipment or to pay salaries or to cover certain bills, list that in this section under your funding request. And if you are already established, if you are going back to a bank after you've had a few years in business and you're writing your business plan, you're presenting their business plan, you want to show what your income currently is. So have your balance sheets in there, your cash flow statements, show that you've got something to back it up. Financial projections. So in this section, you can supplement your funding request with financial projections. Your goal is to convince whoever's reading your business plan that your business is stable and that you're going to have financial success, right? So provide like a really good perspective on the financial outlook for the next 5 years of your company. Include forecasted income statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements, capital expenditure budgets, like put all that into this section. This section is a really good place where you can use some graphs and some charts just to tell the financial story of your business. Now, like I said, there's 2 different ways. The traditional plan is a lot more detailed and you're going to go a lot deeper, but this plan is really important, especially when you need some funding. The other plan is just pretty key, like just short, very key notes, but this is the outline of what your 2 business plans are going to look like. And the Small Business Administration is a fabulous source you can actually go onto their website and they have a tool that will walk you through each of these sections and help you fill it out and guide you along the way. So if it's still intimidating to you to sit down and write your business plan, and if this outline, you still want to see examples, go to the SBA. It's sba.gov. They have a lot of information that will continue to help you. So are there any questions? concerns, or words of wisdom? If so, feel free to message me or comment. You can email me directly at deanna@sassygrowmedia.com. If you're in the startup circle, feel free to just comment under this video and let me know what questions you have about your business plan. And thank you so much for joining, and I will see you all in the circle.